Okay, last Thursday I was excited. Today I'm very frustrated. So, what's been going on? I have, first start, I have a lot of homework due in the near future, which is ridiculous, but whatever. It's the my work with the in-body problem that I was so excited about. The professor is being frustrating. I think he's stupid or something. And probably shouldn't put that online, but whatever. This is my vlog. So I'm very frustrated with him. He keeps wanting to see more detail, more evidence, more whatever, that what I'm doing works. It works. Yes, I have it working. All you really need to see is that the calculations that you have for gravity at multiple points are the same. He wants me to model 3 bodies over several months worth of time. And he doesn't mind if there's a 1 or 2% difference, but so I'm gonna try to work on it because I still think he's just being hard-headed because it's Dr. Matzelani, and as I've said before, he's not a very big risk taker. He's very methodical, and sometimes I can use a little of that to balance out, and I don't want to say brash running in and whatever, but he's not completely wrong, and he has the exercise of programming in MATLAB, which is what I ended up eventually doing, which was what he suggested, worked well for me to catch a minor, I don't want to call it an error, although that's what it was. But anyway, everything looks good now. I figured out what my problem was, and I just took a shower, so I'm a little wet. Anyway, but I'm very frustrated, and I'm not completely sure what he wants to see. He says he wants me to model the motion of the planets for several months and see what the difference of the things are. See how they move, and compare the Newtonian and the Eulerian, not Newtonian, compare the Newtonian gravity model to what mine is showing. And he wants it very, very soon, which would be great, except that, whatever. But I'm very frustrated by this, because I feel like I've already demonstrated it, and that what he's asking for is unreasonable and more than is necessary to demonstrate the veracity of what I'm trying to do. And I'm just venting a little frustration on YouTube. I'm very frustrated with NC State in general. The distance ed program agreement through the NIA that they claim that they have with Maryland, the University of Maryland, I spoke to Dr. Silverberg, who, if I understand right, is supposed to be the man who's in charge of that stuff, but I'm not sure he's the right man to talk to anymore. Partly because he does most of the undergraduate stuff and I'm a graduate student. So I'm gonna try talking to Dr. Nagel and we'll see what, if anything, happens. Although I'm, again, thinking that perhaps I should just withdraw, because I'm not able to study what I want to study. And of the classes that are available next semester, there is one, and only one, that I'm even slightly interested in. Yes, I'm interested in it, but I'm not so interested in it that I can do stuff. Like, that can't be my whole semester. If I could do my project work, that would fill in another 3 hours, but I need at least 9 hours to be a full-time grad student, and it's not happening. I mean, I could take one more class that doesn't do anything, but I feel like I'm wasting my time here. I could be doing, I don't even know what, but I could be doing something. Anyway, I'm gonna keep trying to do this thing with the professor, because he's Like I said, I don't think he's trying to block me. He's just trying to be very careful, I think, about making sure that everything is on the up and up, because right now I don't look the best on paper, and he's seen my work before, so he's kind of right to be skeptical, except that this time I'm right, and I know what I'm doing. I've been working on this problem. This is not just a whatever. I've been working on this problem for years, and yes, I caught an error recently, but it was a very minor kind of mathematical error I made in the programming rather than an error in the concept or in the... Anyway, doesn't matter. So I've calculated how many seconds I need to model this system for to make him happy, because he said he wanted to see like several months, so I picked 3, and I need to model 7,776,000 seconds. That would be 90 days. So I'm going to try doing that with a time step of 1 second, but I don't believe that the answers are going to come out the same, and I already know that. Why do I know that? Because I'm smart, but I'll explain the other reasons too. The in-body problem is a chaotic system. It's like a double pendulum or the weather. If you've heard of the butterfly effect, you know what I'm talking about, where very minor differences in your initial conditions can lead to dramatically different differences in the much later part of the system. And that's just how it works. I'm also having some minor numerical problems where the computer represents numbers using powers of 2. So one of the problems I have is that the 24th digit, 24th decimal place, is not the same. When you take the number 4 and you compare it to 2 plus 2, the two numbers are slightly different if you use just their mathematical representation in the computer. Actually, no, that's a bad example, because 2 it can actually represent. But if you have 3 and 6, then they're different. God, I can't believe I did that. Just kind of doing this off the cuff. Anyway, I'm very frustrated, which is part of why I'm so scatterbrained now. And I'm trying to figure out what to do with myself. Also need to find out from my family if I could go home, because at this rate, this whole whatever grad school thing is looking like it was a big mistake again. And after this summer, I'm not sure. This whole thing is a mess. Anyway, I think that what I need to look at the very least, is what other options I have, like employment or whatever, other schools I could transfer to. I need to figure something out, because I don't believe that NC State right now is the place for me. In good news, I did decide that one of the things I could do for my optimization class was finding optimal trajectories using optimization methods. There's a project that he wants us to do, and I decided that would be my project. And I talked to Dr. Ferguson about this on whatever day it was recently. And he said, sounds possible, it sounds doable. I said I would try applying ant colony optimization to a trajectory problem, because ant colony optimization is applying the way that ants find the best path to and from food to other pathfinding problems. And I think it's going to be interesting. But Ferguson said his only concern is that I might not be able to model the motion of the probe, but he said that because it's an optimization class, even if I have to make some really grotesque approximations, that because it's an optimization class, I can do more or less whatever I want to with the approximations, because it's not about finding the right answer in his class, it's about using the method correctly. So if the method finds the right answer for the model I'm using, then even if the model is wrong, the project will be a success. Although I want to use a correct model. But he basically was saying, don't worry too much if it's kind of tricky. Just sort of do something and make sure the optimization end of it is right. So that's good. I got some help on my chemistry homework last night from a tutor friend person, and I have some good questions to ask in class today. Like, what the hell do you want me to do with question number 3? Maybe Dr. Ucheki will be able to answer that. There's probably a better way to phrase that question. I'm going to work on the phrasing. He's very funny about being polite. Oh, and also in the news, I saw where the Occupy Wall Street protests were broken up rather roughly, and I find that very discouraging. It's very, very sad. Whether the people are idiots or not, they have a right to peacefully assemble, and it's all just a mess. No, they don't need a permit. Their permit is the Bill of Rights. It's somewhere in there. Right to peaceful assembly. And it's just... Anyway. Everything's a mess. I'm very frustrated. Concerned about the future of my country, in addition to being concerned about my future personally. But there's only so much I can do. Looks like a big mess. Whole thing is very discouraging. But I need to just look at the opportunities that are available to me. I've been thinking about trying to start a non-profit or even a corporation, because I don't know if anyone else knows about this, but Obama's been pushing a commercial space initiative, and I'm feeling entrepreneurial. Although I said that last semester and I didn't follow through on it. I stayed in school. Which I'm starting to think is a mistake. I actually saw somebody on Facebook who posted something on Facebook, and he said, I saw a young man holding a sign outside in the pouring down freezing rain with an umbrella for one of these businesses somewhere around Raleigh. Basically, he was a guy holding a sign advertising a fast food restaurant. And the guy said, stay in school, kids. You don't want to be the guy with this job. Someone else said, what's really sad is that that guy probably has a degree, and that's the best job he could find. And that made me realize the truth is probably that the guy is trying to make money to pay for school, because that's the kind of shitty job you take when you're working on a college degree, but you desperately need money to do it. I mean, the fast food restaurants around here, a lot of them just put out a freaking tip jar, and then they pay their people sub-minimum wage and say, oh, but they get tips. Yeah, it's fucking McDonald's. They're not getting tips. I don't care how big the tip jar you set out is. Anyway, I need to work on stuff, homework, my modeling project. I think I'm going to try one more time to please this Dr. Mazzolini before I give up and just go off and do my own thing.